All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time once again for another live episode here on the Tim Warren channel. And in today's show, we got to talk a lot about the crypto markets. Got to talk about gold and silver going absolutely parabolic here, hitting some levels. I've told you guys now for the last couple of weeks, I was expecting to happen. Didn't know it was going to happen this soon. But in a nutshell, I got good news and I got bad news for you guys. If you're a crypto holder, got a little bit good, a little bit of bad for you. Good, when you look at what gold and silver is doing right now, I don't actually know how crypto people are looking at this being discouraged. I think that's happening right now in the metals is phenomenal. Okay. I'll explain why in today's show. The bad news, on the other hand, though, because we've watched this now for a long time, multiple months. Gold and silver and other metals are ripping to the upside, but it just seems like Bitcoin and altcoins cannot catch a break. Anything bullish happens, it seems like within 24 hours, there comes in something that kills all the momentum. Why is that? I'll talk to you about that in the show. We can't have a sustained bull rally until something in particular happens, and I'll explain why. So make sure, do not go anywhere. Watch today's entire episode. We are live, so go ahead and get into chat. Ask me some questions. Give me some thoughts. Give me some comments. Smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and we will jump in here really quickly. Off topic, though, we just finished the division, or we finished the conference championships in the NFL. So to all of my NFL fans out there, who's going to win the Super Bowl? Is it going to be New England Patriots, or is it going to be the Seattle Seahawks? Comment right now in the chat. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? We'll find out here in about 2 weeks or so. Guys, let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart right now before we jump into news, before we jump into all the details. Bitcoin, the chart's doing some really messy things. I was live with my VIP trading group today, and we were talking about what was going to happen. And I pretty much said, this is a time I don't really have a swing long position open in either direction right now, because this is extremely, extremely messy right now. Bitcoin, as we're kind of shooting this right now, just below 88,000. We were just here a second ago up at 88.7 not too long ago here today. But what I don't love here, and we've mentioned this, we broke below the key support level. You guys see this green uptrending line back here on January 20th. We broke below this level. And while we had almost 3 days in a row of kind of flexing like we could make a break above. We even had a wick here on the 23rd, break above this green line around 90,600, made it up as high as $91,000. We couldn't close a daily candle above this green line. And now, over the last couple of days, Bitcoin has gone to go lower than we had back here on January 21st. We dipped down to $86,000 here last night. And the short part of it is, right, we're going to talk about the bearish stuff. We're going to talk about the bullish stuff today, because there's bearish things in the charts. There's bullish things on the charts. There's bearish things in the news. There's bullish things in the news. There's bearish sentiment about the rest of 2026. There's bullish sentiment for the rest of 2026. This is a messy, messy, messy market right now. In a nutshell, the bearish thought here, if you are a bear in chat, this should be enough to make you say, you know what? I'm ready to short Bitcoin. Where am I shorting it to? A couple different levels I could choose, but let's just say conservatively, right? We talked about this last week. Ooh, grabbed the wrong line there. Conservatively, if you take the opening of this rising wedge, you move it over to the retest, because that's where we're going right now. The breakout prediction is saying that Bitcoin should make its way down to 77,500. Okay, that is the target right now that bears are looking at. They're licking their lips. They're saying, hey, this is how far we can get down to. Some of you might go a little further, say, hey, that's not even far enough. Let's get back down to those April lows back here around 74,600. But that's the bearish situation. You might be saying, Tim, so does that mean you're in a short right now, shorting Bitcoin? No, I'm not. And I'll explain to you why. I told you this messy charts right now. Messy charts right now. Bitcoin's having a little sustained bounce here today. You can clearly see from that white candle. Nothing special, nothing crazy, but we're starting to see a little bit of positivity on the chart start to come in. We don't officially have a buy signal. I want to be very clear before I get in here. We don't have a buy signal on the daily chart, but we are very close to one. We're very close to a daily buy signal. Just to kind of remind you, the last couple daily buy signals, the last one before today, you got to go back over here to December. Let's go out on the 20th, 19th, 20th. This is back when Bitcoin was testing support right here. We bounced around 85,000. And even though it took some time, there was a little bit of volatility. We would, of course, rally all the way up to $98,000 over the next couple of weeks. Before that, the previous buy signal was almost exactly down here at the bottom back in late November, around the 22nd, 23rd. Of course, Bitcoin would go from being at 80,500 all the way up to 94,000 before having some sort of major correction. So recently, look at the last two of them. Recently, daily buy signals have been very good. When you get a Z-score or a green reversal, let's go back to the previous time, even before that one. We're talking about going back over here to August of 2025. And this, of course, would send Bitcoin to new all-time highs. So this NeuroWave indicator, the one that you get for free when you join our VIP trading group, is saying we're dangerously close to getting a buy signal. What we're looking at right now, we have a green reversal, triangle. We have a Z-score reversal dot. So these are two different indicators that are in this oscillator that both say we're extremely oversold right now. We want to look to see if a reversal come back to the upside. Those are both flashing. Lower time frames are starting to suggest we're bullish. Like the 4-hour has a buy signal right now. The 1 hour is almost done with a sell signal. There's a lot of positivity on lower time frames. All we're waiting to see now, can the money flow turn positive? Can the momentum wave turn positive with a green dot? And all of a sudden, you're looking at this and you're saying, looks like Bitcoin could make a run to the upside. I told you, 4-hour chart currently under a buy signal already from earlier this morning. Green reversal triangle, green momentum dot, positive money flow. This is why this indicator is so lethal at trading. You could have just about almost perfectly called the bottom with this indicator and entered along this morning, or excuse me, last night towards the end of it, and you would have made some money. Go check out that VIP trading group. I see a couple names in chat right now that I know are in that VIP trading group. Let them know what they're missing out over there in the chat. So what am I saying? In a nutshell, there's macro TA that would suggest more often than not, formations like this one break to the downside and come down. This should send us south of 80K. And yet the oscillators telling us when things are overbought, oversold, are saying we're more overbought right now. I just want to make sure you're clear on this. Weekly chart. We've been under a buy signal now since all the way back here in November of 2025. So the weekly chart says buy signal. This one kind of suggests a move back up above 100,000. The daily charts is very close to saying buy signal. That one probably suggesting, let me see this smart trail, but I think that's going to suggest right back up here, a very key resistant level. 94,000 would be my level. Let's say 94.2 is my level right there, but $94,000 target for the daily. And then, of course, we can go in the 4-hour, 1 hour. It's not as important, not longer term moves right there. But we're seeing the oscillators. It's not one of them. It's not two of them. Everything weekly charting down right now is suggesting that Bitcoin might be close to a bottom. Now, I want to be very clear here. Am I saying today is the bottom? No, not necessarily. There's a chance. There is a chance that Bitcoin decided last night 86 was the bottom. It's ready to rip to the upside. I would put my level, though. Remember I told you the daily buy signal was close, but not here. Okay. It's not officially here. It's very close. I'm looking right now at this order block, a move back down to these wicks. Is several wicks. If you're listening right now, you can't see this. I'm going to tell you the price action here in a second. But there's a big order block with a candle body close back on November 21st, a wick on December 1st, and a wick back on December 18th, all in the area of just around $84,000. Right? So if the daily buy signal isn't close necessarily, but there's a clean support level that we've bounced off of 1, 2, 3 different times already, 84,000 is an interesting level I'm keeping an eye on if things turn bearish over the next couple of days. And like I said, there is bearish stuff happening in the news, in the sentiment right now. I don't think it's crazy to think 84,000, even if you're bullish right now. I don't think it's crazy to think that 84,000 really should be something you're thinking about when it comes to the Bitcoin chart. Okay. After that, like I said, am I looking for moves up to 100,000? I don't think we can get back above 100,000 until the thing I'm going to talk about later in the show happens. I'm teasing that a little bit longer, right? I don't think getting back up to 94,000 would not be a major bullish rally. Okay. I'm going to be very clear. If anyone's sitting here saying Tim's so bullish, he's calling 94,000. 94,000 is not even that bullish. 94,000 is simply this little zone that, yeah, we had this little spike up to 98K. Yeah, we have this channel kind of going here. But the reality is now we've had 1, 2, 3, and potentially get 4 support touches here, 84. And then you come back over here. We have 1, 2, 3. We broke through it, but we'll call that 4. 4 touches of resistance here at 94,000. We find ourselves in this nice, boring zone. Great for trading. If you're into trading, great for trading. But this nice boring zone in a $10,000 window between 84,000 and 94,000, you really can't know for certain what the next big move is until one of these levels is broken. Is it the support? Is it the resistance? That's what we're watching happen right now. I'm not overly bearish if we come down here and just bounce off 84,000. That would be expected. I'm not overly bullish if we come up here and reject on 94,000. Give me a break below 84, and we're talking about a short down sub 80K easily. Get me a break above 94, and I think 100K is back on the table. But I'm starting to believe that we won't get that break to the upside until a particular thing happens, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. Really quickly, do me a favor. If you guys, I think I'm supposed to do a giveaway today, and I think Crux is supposed to get me a link for the giveaway at some point. If it doesn't happen, it's on me. Don't blame Crux. Today is supposed to be a giveaway of $500 to one of our Toobit users, and I, for some reason, completely blanked on it until literally 2 minutes before I went live here. So everyone get mad at me. Here's the deal. I'm supposed to do a wheel today, announce a winner to get $500 from Toobit. If I don't get this done because Crux is unable to get me this list, it's not his fault. It's my fault. Next week on Monday, I will do 2 winners, 2 $500 winners of my Toobit users. Okay. So some of you are wishing that Crux doesn't get this list to me. Some of you would like to get entered for this win right now. I'll tell you right now, if you want to be entered for it, we're going to do it I'm going to try to do it when I remember it. Last Monday of every single month. My live shows are on Mondays. All you have to do is go sign up at the link down below for Toobit. Look at this right here. If you're watching this, go to the description right now. Go down here, sign up for Toobit, start trading with me today. What's really cool is when you deposit $100 or more, you can get free access to my live trading session, see what I'm trading, see what I'm doing, see what other pro traders are doing. $500 or more, that's what gets you additional perks. That additional perk is entered for $500 giveaways every single month. All you got to do, deposit the money, send it to this email right here, exchange.info@timwarrentrading.com. Why Toobit? Well, it's the one I use. Also, Toobit, the most phenomenal customer service you're ever going to encounter when it comes to crypto exchanges. You're going to have the best fees out there. When you use my link, you get VIP level 1 fees automatically. So many reasons to go get Toobit with our link right there. Not a lot of reasons not to, unless you just don't like money. That's one reason not to go get Toobit is you actually like spending more money on your trades. You don't like seeing other people's trades, and you don't like being entered for giveaways. If that's you, I just described you, don't go sign up for Toobit because then you're wasting your time. Let's stress a couple other things before I get into the news headlines here, and I tell you what I think is going to have to happen for Bitcoin to re-enter a rally and a bull trend. Let's talk about the cool kids on the block for a second. Of course, I'm talking about gold and silver. Be honest in chat. Drop a 1 in chat if you've been holding gold and silver for longer than a month, right? I think a lot of people probably got in around a month ago. Things got really big. If you've been holding gold and silver longer than 1 month ago, put a 1 in chat. I want to applaud you. You have done phenomenal stuff. I bought last summer because we had a partnership, and part of it, I bought some gold and silver because it was a really cool opportunity. Thought it was really cool. So glad I did. I wouldn't have on my own. So this is one area I missed going forward. But gold and silver have, of course, been the darlings of investing and trading for the last couple of months. What's interesting, this is gold right here. Gold is currently still above 5,000. The target that I told you guys on this show, how long ago did I tell you this? Definitely beginning of January. We talked about a key level on gold, a key level on silver. Both of these levels have been hit today. Does that mean the top's in? I'm not necessarily 100% certain the top's in, but I want to address this with you guys because it's very important. Let's start with gold. Gold rejected this morning almost perfectly on the level I told you guys to look out for. 5,112. 5,112. Why is 5,112 so important? Back up so you can see a little bit more of my chart. If you guys use Fibonacci extension like I do, I love using Fibonacci extension. My favorite indicator for when an asset gets into price discovery mode. Love Fibonacci retracement on like normal pullbacks, but whenever a coin or an asset goes to new all-time highs, you've never seen these prices before, you can look at trends to try to guess where things are going to be, but ultimately the best way to understand from a technical analysis standpoint where you're going to find levels of resistance going to be Fibonacci extension levels, right? So gold smashed through all-time highs here. Let's go all the way back to January of 2024, okay? We get into price discovery mode. I want you to look at the key times and places where gold paused, right? Gold hasn't had a pullback since all the way back here when it pulled back in July of 2020. Other than that, since this bottom in October of 2022, it's like gold is just a nonstop rip to the upside. But take a look at the few times that gold has paused the rally and what it's running into. It runs into significant levels here on Fibonacci extension. It's too messy. This is way too far out. I gotta fix this for a second. There we go. This way we can actually see what it's doing. There we go. Boom. Let's zoom in here once again. I apologize, everybody. We're live, so technical difficulties with my chart. We run in here back after starting a big rally. April of 2024, gold decides to hesitate at $2,400 right at the 1.386 level. Then it starts to run up again. It breaks that level. It hesitates right here at 27.87. Guess what? That's called the golden pocket level. Then back here in April of 25, we once again pause almost perfectly right at the 2% level, right on the Fibonacci extension. And then here back in October, we pause almost perfectly at 4,300, the 2.35 level. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we've just hit the next significant level. I've told you now for quite some time, since back here in, early January is where I kind of talked about this. I said, watch out for 5,112. Why? Because this was the next big Fibonacci extension level, 2.618. And as we're talking, right, there's a lot can happen here. Let's see how the day closes. There's a pretty gnarly looking wick. Gold right now back down to 5,044. Gold is sitting at ridiculous levels of overbought, right? Ridiculous levels of overbought things. Weekly chart is in such a bad place, going to give us bearish divergence. Not that it always matters. Sometimes when you just have a good narrative going, you can ignore bearish divergence. But I just want to show you the charts right now. As we're hitting the next significant level of resistance, we got bearish divergence forming. MACD has not been this high in the weekly chart ever. Historical levels there. RSI's got bearish divergence. Neurowave, while the money flow has turned back positive here, definitely showing us lower time frames are on the sell block. Daily chart, while we don't have a sell signal officially, we are getting a red Z-score. We got bearish divergence on the RSI. We have bad things going on here. This chart is screaming at me that at some point gold needs to make some sort of a healthy correction. But it also said that back here in December, and we had a little bit of a pullback and not much else happened after that. So we'll have to see how this one plays out. But next resistance level has been touched. Resistance or sell signals are starting to flood in. Same with silver. Silver has reached what we call the golden pocket, right? Not as high on the Fibonacci extension as gold is, but I told you guys somewhere between $111 to $116 would be my next target to watch. Silver this morning got to $117 per coin. It's not a coin, per ounce, excuse me. I'm so used to crypto vernacular. $117 this morning, and now there's a pretty gnarly wick already in the works. But what's even worse, bearish divergence, historical all-time highs in the MACD. No weakness on that MACD, but it is something to be aware of. You go down to the daily chart, again, screaming bearish divergence is forming. Lower time frames are saying it's time to sell. Will silver actually decide to sell off? That is a question we have to ask. But we got to stop and at least applaud just how absolutely amazing the run has been here for silver and gold. Gold since back in 24. Silver really picked up steam in April of 2025. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you guys think that silver and gold both have a long way to the upside to keep rallying? Or do you think it's just about time for it to cool off? Let me tell you why I think that if you're a crypto enthusiast, I realize that, while we are trying to cover all the assets, right? We want to cover crypto. We want to cover stocks. We want to cover metals. We want to help people understand what's the right thing to investing in at the right time. A lot of people watching us are crypto enthusiasts, and a lot of you are probably discouraged looking at this chart. I don't think you should be discouraged whatsoever. When I look at a silver chart and I look at a gold chart, what are silver and gold? They're commodities. They're metals. They're things that people go to purchase because they realize there's another chart that you should be afraid of. That chart is called the Dixie. The Dixie is a dollar strength chart that's showing nothing but downward movements for quite some time now, since back in October of 2022. The dollar is dying, and people flood to commodities to get away from them, okay? Bitcoin is going to be a commodity. Certain altcoins, I'm thinking Ethereum's, the Solanas, the Chainlinks, I'm going to leave some off the list because I'm going to be here a while, but certain altcoins will be commodities, but yet crypto keeps falling while gold and silver go parabolic. This should be very encouraging to you. Gold and silver can only continue this much of a momentum shift before it needs some sort of healthy correction, some sort of pullback, right? Silver is now 3 times the value of Bitcoin when it looks at market cap. Gold is up. Oh, heck, what is gold up now? At one point, it was at 33 trillion, but that was the other day. So I'm going to guess gold is sitting north of $35 trillion in market cap. Bitcoin sitting at like 1.9 the other day. That's what I was looking at. Maybe it's less than that. In a nutshell, there's a lot of reasons to look at these commodities that people have flooded into from the dollar, but realize, you know what? Smart investors, they look at these resistance touches. They look at these oscillators. They say, you know what? I don't care about the dollar. I know the dollar is a dying asset, but I want to put my money somewhere that I can have low risk, high value. And I look at a chart like silver and gold and I say, well, that's not it. Right? This is a chart screaming at me. It wants to pull back. Where should I put my money? It's only a matter of time before this chart is the one that people look at, the Bitcoin chart. It's only a matter of time before they look at the Ethereums of the world and the Solanas of the world. And they say, you know what? These are great assets to go in and save myself from the dying dollar. But there's a problem. The problem is Bitcoin and cryptos and altcoins cannot have a new bull run until this one particular thing happens. And you want to know what that is? It's going to sound boring. It's going to sound stupid and easy, but you need to hear it. It's going to be regulation. And it's going to be clarity. In fact, it's going to be the Clarity Act. Again, could Bitcoin get back up to 94,000? Sure. I would love to be wrong, by the way. I would love to see Bitcoin, even before the Clarity Act comes out, get back above 100K. But the reality is, and you need to set yourself up for this to be ready for it, is right now, I tweeted about this the other day, retail is not buying cryptocurrency. They're just not. The on-chain metrics are showing it. You don't even need on-chain metrics. Go look at Google Trends. Go look at X. Look at the average views. Go to my YouTube channel. Go to another crypto influencer's YouTube channel. Look at their average views over the last couple of weeks versus the average views from back in like October of 25. Go back to the fall of 2024. Look at the average viewership of cryptocurrency. It's falling off. People don't care right now. Retail doesn't care right now. Why? Because retail, especially ones that have been around for at least one cycle, are convinced that the bear market is here. The 4-year cycle has taken its toll. We topped out in October. We have a full year of bearish activity. If we have a full year of bearish activity, why in the world would I be going to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or Chainlink? It's a bear market. Retail's not here. Okay. So why would we, historically up to this point, retail's been what pumps cryptocurrency. So if retail doesn't want to buy it, what's going to buy crypto to make it go to the upside? In comes this bull market. Something I've been telling you guys now for years, plural, not just one, more than one. I think it's been like 2.5 at this point. I've been telling people that this bull run, the bull run that started in 2024, that was supposed to have a better 2025, but I think now will continue into 2026 and potentially beyond into 27. This was going to be the significant bull run that institutions were going to be the driver, not the retail like times before. So retail's not buying. They're convinced we're in a bear market. Okay, even a lot of our viewers, I think a lot of our viewers who watch every day, you identify yourself in chat, say I'm a local bear. You guys think that the bear market's here. So you're not going to pump the markets. We're not waiting on you. We are waiting on the institutions. We're waiting on the banks, but they don't want to buy until there's clear rules and regulation. And I know there's ETFs already. I know that we have a favorable CFTC, a favorable SEC. I get that. Some institutions have begun to dabble in the world of cryptocurrency. They have. But when we talk about the real money, the trillions of dollars, and I'm not even just talking about the trillions that will probably flow out of gold and silver into crypto. I'm talking about trillions of dollars of other money that is sitting on the sideline waiting for regulation. We're so very close. We're absolutely very close to getting that regulation passed. As soon as it happens, banks, large institutions, they're not going to just dabble. They're not just going to throw pennies at the crypto market. They're going to go in big. Why? Because they know the dollar's dying. They know the dollar's ruined. They know fiat currency is a broken system. Cryptocurrency and tokenized assets are the future. It all happens through the world of blockchain in crypto. They're just waiting for the rules to be ready. So if they're waiting to buy and they're not buying, and retail is convinced we're in a bear market, they're not buying, why are we expecting any new all-time highs anytime soon? We shouldn't be. It's absolutely stupid. Nobody's buying right now. But that changes when we have clarity, the Clarity Act, and regulation for the markets. There's reasons to be optimistic, by the way. We still continue to see signs of these larger institutions getting ready. For example, we all know BlackRock, the largest provider of Bitcoin ETFs, loves Bitcoin, but they're doubling down. They're doubling down on this. They just filed for a new iShares Bitcoin Premium Income ETF. This ETF will aim to generate yield sell call options on its $70 billion IBIT holdings. This is supposed to be put out here. My team put out kind of similar to MicroStrategy. What you need to know about this tweet, you don't need to worry about if it's similar to MicroStrategy. What does this do to MicroStrategy? What it signals is that BlackRock loves the money they're making from their ETFs with IBIT. Like it's the number one form of income in Q4 of 2025. But if no one wants to buy it because we're in a bear market, hang it up. Go find something else to do. No, they're not doing that. They're doubling down. They're offering a new way for people to make money on Bitcoin. Why? Because BlackRock, probably the most wealthy investment firm in the world, sees the vision of Bitcoin, sees the vision of cryptocurrency. They want to be ready. They want to dominate the space when it comes to adoption. When this regulatory bill comes out, they're not waiting for it to come out later. They're doubling down now. There are still so many signs that positivity is coming. Speaking of that bill, while we don't have anything hardcore happening just yet, we do have a meeting that was supposed to be tomorrow, but in case you guys didn't know, here in the United States, there's a massive winter storm ripping through the entire country. The SEC and the CFTC will be having a joint meeting on crypto coordination. It was moved to Thursday, January 29th. So if you saw someone say that the 27th, the Tuesday, it was rescheduled. Massive storms across the entire northeast part of the United States is delaying this, but this is something that needs to fill the giant sentiment vacuum that Clarity Act delay has created. It could be very bullish if they say something the market was not expecting. Of course, the SEC and the CFTC, two of the largest regulatory offices here in the United States, while they're both pro-crypto, they understand they have to run these things through Washington as well. But could they get the ball rolling as we continue to have our representatives in Washington, D.C. drag their feet on passing a bill? Do the SEC and the CFTC say something that gets the ball rolling so to bring more positivity to these institutions? I still think we need the actual bill from the United States government to have a full-blown bull market again. But don't underscore what the SEC and the CFTC themselves can get accomplished in their meeting and public announcement they'll be having. So we'll look forward to that on Thursday. It's going to be a very big meeting to be aware of. But that in a nutshell is the point of today's video. I wanted to cover with you guys right now. Bitcoin has not had a bullish rally here for quite some time. A little pop-up we had at 98,000 was just, when you really look at it, just a little relief bounce. It wasn't anything major. If we're ready for a full-blown rally, we need to see money, right? Economics, guys, you got to have the money come in. Supply's got to stay same, or the money coming in has to outpace the supply. If there's no money coming in, price doesn't go up. Where's the money coming from? It's coming from the banks. It's coming from institutions, but they're waiting to make sure they know the rules. That's what you have to wait for. Continue to be patient. Continue to be vigilant. Buy dips as best you can when you can, because there's still a long bullish momentum coming. We just have to wait for one particular thing to happen. I would have told you before now that we have to wait for liquidity as well, right? If you guys remember back in early 2025, I told you guys the two big things that have to happen to give us the next major bull run. You got to have liquidity. You got to have regulation. Well, they kicked that regulation can down the road. We are a year later and still haven't passed any bills, but we have started to inject liquidity. And you want to know another thing right now that people are freaking out about? People are freaking out right now because the Japan carry trade unwind looks like it's roaring its head again. Everyone's referencing this chart right here, the Japanese 10-year bond yield that is ripped to the upside here. You look at the Japanese yen over the US dollar. After not doing much of anything the last 2 days, it started to bounce to the upside. Guess what? Even this story, it might have a short-term volatile move to the downside for cryptocurrency, like it often does, but it's going to cause a ripple effect that brings in more liquidity, okay? This is what we're kind of watching happen right now. If you guys have been on X, if you've been listening to these stories, people are really freaking out about Japan. They're really freaking out that something really bad is going to happen. Japan's dollar is starting to increase. It's so bad that the United States Federal Reserve, and United States political figures, I mean, I know Besant's been involved, there's been a couple others, they are considering how America can act to help Japan out, to help balance this stuff out. What does that mean? It kind of means the Fed has hinted at buying Japanese yen, selling US dollars to buy Japanese yen. And now in our trading group this morning, somebody said, "Oh, Tim, wouldn't that be a bad thing for the dollar?" No. If you think it is, you don't understand how US government works. The US government is not going to take money right now that currently exists and go buy Japanese yen. Why would you do that? That's so silly. You can just make more. You just print a little more money. Just turn that little money printer on. Go brr. We're gonna make more money out of thin air. We're gonna devalue the US dollar. We're gonna buy some Japanese yen. We're gonna let that balance out. What happens with the ripple effects here? Well, number one, we're inflating the dollar. We're gonna print into oblivion. This often it's liquidity, by the way, but it also devalues the dollar. So things against the dollar like to go up in value. People run to those instead. Also, the big fear with Japan is, well, if the Japanese yen starts to get devalued and they have to start raising interest rates, then all the people that borrowed money from Japan because it was really low interest rate, they're going to sell their assets and go pay off their debt. Well, if America starts to bail them out, if other countries start to bail them out, and they don't have to do that, all of a sudden people can leave their investments into risk assets. People are freaking out in Japan, and I know there's going to be volatility. There's going to be volatility because that's just where we are in the markets right now. But all these things really, when you boil them down to what's happening, are still leaning towards a major, major bullish move coming for the crypto markets. There's not an economic collapse coming to the United States. People can keep screaming recession, but the GDP numbers are just not showing it. People, who was the guy? They made a whole movie about him that called the housing market. Man, I'm blanking on his name. But you have these bears out here. There's a lot of posts right now from these super, super strong bears who are like, "Oh, we're about to head for the worst collapse in America's history." At a certain point, when you say we're headed for the worst collapse in American history for 15 years straight with no Michael Burry. I'm not saying that Michael Burry is an idiot. Because, first of all, I think he might be very intelligent. He called the 2008 housing market crash. But when you call bearish movements every year, eventually you're going to get something right. Eventually, markets are going to collapse. Eventually, markets are going to pull back. Let me say that. I'm not always going to collapse. They're going to pull back. But you really start to lose any type of value you give people when you just say the same thing over and over again and you're oblivious to markets moving the exact opposite direction. Right. Michael Burry made a whole lot of money in 2007 and 2008 and 2009. He might have lost it all by now. If he's been shorting as long as he says he's been shorting, unless he's just lying to people, if he is shorting every single time he says he's shorting, my man's lost a lot of money trying to short this market for the biggest collapse in American history. I'm not saying that the U.S. dollar is in a good place. I'm not saying that the American economy is headed for success because guess what? We're racking up debt like it's candy. And we just found out we no longer have diabetes. But that's not today. The problem from America is every time we start to get to this issue, we just find ways to kick the can down the road and not deal with it right now. Someday our children will deal with it. Someday our children's children will deal with it. But that's not today. And the hope is that we find a way, and the world's waking up to this. The hope is that the current issues we have right now, worldwide economy with fiat currency might actually have a chance of being solved with the adoption of cryptocurrency. Not meme coins, not little silly coins that people make up, not celebrity tokens, but real use case utility, tokenization, real world assets, layer ones, technology boosting cryptocurrencies have the ability to actually solve a lot of the world's problems. And that's why people are waking up to it. But retail's convinced we're in a bear market, so they're not going to buy. Institutions want to buy, but they have to wait for the rules to be established. We're so close, everybody, but you need to continue to be patient. We won't rally again until those things happen. So strap in and have a lot of fun while you're waiting on it. That's really a lot of what I wanted to say today when it comes to cryptocurrency. Smash like and hit subscribe if you guys are enjoying the show. Something you do need to be aware of. I have my trusty notepad right here. We're going to make a video on this later this week because, again, we're not just crypto. We're going to cover stocks as well. Some pretty big stocks have some announcements coming this week with earnings reports. Wednesday, Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla. Ever heard of them? Three of the biggest stocks out there. They will have a report on Wednesday evening. We're going to be putting this video out on Thursday, so be looking for that. Thursday, I don't think we'll have the announcement yet, but Apple will be coming out on Thursday as well. So some of those Magnificent Seven are having some earnings reports, could have some massive implications for stocks going forward. I think I've done this before, but let's look at that real quickly. Go take a look at the stock markets. This is the SPY. Again, the Magnificent Seven have significant impacts on that. You know, it fell out of a rising wedge pattern here. We are attempting right now, trying to get back into it. It'll be very interesting to see how this one comes out. If these earnings reports are not good, we're probably looking at the S&P 500 wanting to keel over and come back down the downside. I've even said here, based on this formation right here, right, this is called a rising wedge pattern. If it ends up being successful, keyword there, this would have a breakout prediction all the way down here closer to 650. But if these earnings reports come out positive, and if, keyword if, we're able to sustain a that was bad language there, momentous bounce here and get back above support, maybe even break resistance, all of a sudden, we could be talking about the next level. I told you the level a couple weeks ago, 700 is the next resistance level to the upside. I will say, at some point, similar to gold and silver, it's not the same, but the S&P 500 needs to cool off as well, right? We had this nice cool off back here in March of 2025. I don't think we need to have the same drastic pullback here, right? The S&P 500 during this time period where people were convinced we were heading for a bear market fell by 20% to the downside. I don't think we need 20%. I do think 10 to potentially 13% is a very interesting spot to look for with the S&P 500. I think it'd be a healthy correction. Go back and look at the greatest bull runs that the S&P 500 has had, right? We've had some great time periods. You'll find these little corrections along the way. You can only run bullish with no major correction for so long before you need some sort of correction to come into play. Don't run for the hills. Don't call major bear market. Don't call the sky is falling just because the S&P 500 starts to pull back. The reality is we're just talking about a asset class that's extremely overvalued, extremely overbought. And there's another market class right now. It's called crypto. It's extremely oversold, right? If you look at SPY, you look at these time frames right here, weekly chart, sell signal, daily chart, bearish divergence, sell signals. Go to Bitcoin, you're getting buy signal, weekly chart, buy signal. It's the exact opposite, okay? So unless we have some sort of major economic collapse, GDP starts to collapse, we start to go into a major recession, there's not a real reason to freak out. Overbought things will sell off. Underbought things will be bought up. By the way, this week, I'm hoping, there's a lot of stuff I got to get done. I'm hoping to talk about, make a video for you guys, because you might be saying, Tim, if I'm not supposed to buy gold and silver because it's overbought, and I'm not supposed to buy these top stocks in the S&P 500 because it's overbought, don't just tell me crypto. What else should I be buying, right? I've already told you cryptos you should buy, but I'm going to look at some stocks here in a video this week that I do think the rotation from a lot of metals and high AI stocks, I could see if they start to sell off, the next big wave of stocks to go up. We're going to make a video covering that information. You don't want to miss it. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss that notification when it comes out. I think that's all I had to talk about. I think we're good here. Did Crux get me? Again, it's not his fault. This is all my fault. I should have had this information ready. He did. Look, Crux, what a guy. So some of you guys are upset with Crux right now. If you want to get mad at him, you can be mad at him. He did what I asked him to do. We aren't going to have to do 2 next week. We are going to do a giveaway. These right here is our list of winners. Did I go smaller here? Let's go smaller here. This is my list of winners here. These are people that have purchased Toobit and deposited $500 or more. Go to the link down below and become the next person. Be a part of this next month. But it is my time. I'm going to do this wheel, and I'm going to get some questions. We're going to wrap out today's show with some Q&A. But here we go. Who's going to be our lucky winner for January? $500 from Toobit. Shout out to Toobit. Go check out their link down below. Oh, it's close. There we go. Gene Mano. Come on down. If you're not watching, that's fine. We'll get a hold of you. The way you're going to collect this, Gene, or anybody in the future, if you win this, you're obviously, if you signed up with this Toobit link, you have a place in our Discord. We'll reach out to you. You reach out to us. We'll connect with you. We will send you the $500. Congratulations, Eugene. The rest of you, go sign up for Toobit so you can be entered for next month. Let me check out the chat here and let's see what the questions are asking. Let's see what the people are saying. Nafal wants me to do some TA on Sui. My hope is dying. We did some Sui TA actually earlier today in the VIP trading group. But if I don't see a lot of other questions, we can do some Sui TA again. What are your thoughts on Arrow? Still thinking it will go up. I'm bullish on Arrow long term. I told people, let's look at this Arrow real quick and then I'll take a look at Sui. I did tell people that I thought Arrow could drop a little bit lower before that rally. Let's see how close it is to actually hitting some of the targets I talked about. Let's go back over here. Right, so Arrow pulling back here. Yeah, I said like worst case scenario, I still could see Arrow coming back all the way to 27 cents. I think that's a little extreme. I don't think it has to get that low necessarily, bouncing back to those levels. But I want you to know that is on the table still here for Arrow. We don't quite have the same weekly buy signal we have on other things, right? So when you look at an Arrow, you love the green triangle, you love the green dot, but the money flow hasn't. I say that. Actually, this week, it looks like the money flow is starting to flow positive. Doesn't mean you can't have a little misdirection move like we're having right at the moment, but I do like seeing that. I do like seeing the weekly buy signal. I would love to see the MACD blue line just start to get a little more positive. The histograms are nice. Turning light pink on the histograms, that's a positive sign. I would love to see this blue line just, doesn't have to cross just yet because that's a delayed factor. I just want to see it start heading back to the upside. To feel really good about that one. But that's a good sign. That's a very good sign for Aerodrome. I mean, early targets here. You look at the last couple times we've had a weekly buy signal. Go back here to April. Go back over there. Before that to September 24. Big run-ups to the upside. Both of them have stretched the Smart Trail. So while the Smart Trail suggests 93 cents is interesting, I'd put my money back up here towards this resistance trend around 126. And of course, when, I think it's a really key, when we get a break above this level, this is a falling channel itself. I still think that you're looking here at a breakout and a possible move for Aerodrome to make its way up here towards $8 at some point in the bull run. When does that happen, guys? If you guys remember in chat, I told you that bull runs aren't going to happen until a certain thing happens. Clarity Act. Regulation. But until then, I think that we can get a big move here up as high as 120. You know, let's see what daily chart looks like. Daily chart kind of similar spot to Bitcoin where it's not quite bullish yet. It's very close. I don't know if this is, again, it's not the big move. We're going to have to wait for actual money to flow into it, but I'm still bullish on Aerodrome. Maybe not as bullish on Aerodrome as I am some other coins. I think there's other tokens out there that have a better use case moving forward, but I still like Aerodrome. I was asked about Sui TA. Sui, of course, here back down, just kind of finding a lot of support here consistently around $1.30 area, right? A lot of touches in this zone since going back here to November. So looks like we found a lot of support. Doesn't mean we can't go lower, just found a lot of support right there on Sui. There's another one very close to a daily buy signal. Doesn't mean we're hit there yet. If I was going to guess, could we go lower? Where would that lower level be? Kind of just showed you a lot of support down here at 130, 133 area. So could we dip to 133? Could we dip by another 10 cents on Sui? Absolutely, we could. Not guaranteed, just saying we could before we get that daily buy signal. And that one's going to tell us kind of, daily charts kind of saying 174 is interesting. Weekly chart, of course, is saying all the way back up here towards this resistance level at 256 will be an interesting weekly chart. Big order block, big smart trail in that area. So watch out for that on Sui. Yeah, we didn't talk too much about the government shutdown. The government shutdown. All right. Yeah. I'm going to talk about this in a video later this week, but you guys are here. Let's talk about the government shutdown. We probably will call it out a show for today. Started in 44 minutes. I'm trying to keep these just shorter ones, but I think there's a lot I need to get through today. Talk with you guys. Videos this week will be shorter. I'm really trying. I can't promise all of them, but let me know in chat right now. Some of you hate this. Some of you love this. What do you guys think about the videos I've done recently where I think the last one I did was like 50 minutes. I'm really trying to go sub 10-minute videos daily. Okay. Really trying to get you guys the jam-packed information in and out. Don't waste your day. Find out what you need to find out about. If you want to go deeper, I'm going live all the time with my VIP trading group. We got other pro traders doing that as well. You get that with Toobit. You get those things with Toobit. But let me know what you guys think about the shorter content. We're going to keep doing it. I just want to know what you guys think about it. I want to know what you guys think about it. The 75% chance for government shutdown is actually worse than that, if I do recall. Yeah, this is the more recent, unless it dropped on us. The last time we recorded it, it was 80% chance from the poly market odds that we're going to get a government shutdown. Guys, we're probably going to get a government shutdown. We're probably going to get a government shutdown. On Wednesday, didn't even talk about this show, FOMC, we're not going to get a rate cut, right? Just go ahead and prepare yourself. There will be no rate cut. There probably will be a government shutdown. Okay. Now that you've been prepared for that, let's talk about the scenario, because people are like, oh no, no rate cut, so bearish. Oh no, the government's shutting down, so bearish. Not really, not necessarily. It's outside factors that affect if those things end up being bearish or not. If the FOMC, when they decide to not cut rates, but they come out and they say, yeah, inflation is not really that bad. Recent reports show inflation is not out of control, and unemployment's not doing terrible, but it's still where we're focused right now. If that's the continued metric, which, by the way, Jerome Powell has said for the last couple of meetings, that's a bullish situation. We've already prepared for no rate cut. We know that later this year, we're going to get a brand new Fed member, Fed chairman, and we'll probably get more rate cuts later, as long as we don't see him start to talk like, oh, yeah, I'm thinking February and March, maybe we might need to look at some rate hikes. If he says that, very bearish. But if he comes out and says, hey, it's all the way we said it was, at worst, it's a nothing burger. FOMC meeting will have no importance whatsoever. By the way, we're not going to stream that live this time. We've noticed just not a lot of people join us live for that. We're going to go live with our VIP trading group on Wednesday to cover that. We'll trade the markets. And then afterwards, I'll put out like a 5 to 10 minute video with my thoughts for all the rest of you who don't have an hour, 2 hours to watch the FOMC meeting. I'll give you a nice short video kind of summarizing what the takeaway is. When it comes to government shutdowns, right? Look at the history of government shutdowns. Look at the dates they happen, and then the price action for risk on assets like cryptocurrency. You're actually going to find more often than not every time, not always, but more often than not, government shutdowns actually have a track record of being bullish. Why? Because it's not actually about the shutdown that affects the price action for Bitcoin and for cryptocurrencies. It's what's surrounding and what are the conditions going into the shutdown. Okay. So if we hear some favorable things about the Clarity Act, if we hear some favorable things from the SEC and the CFTC's meeting, if we don't have any new tariff scares between now and then, if we start to see some resolution and maybe we start to see, people looking to bail out Japan, the government shutdown doesn't necessarily make us bearish. But if there's bad news going in, if there's reasons to believe the government shutdown is going to delay crypto regulation, if there's reasons to think it's going to hurt the world economy even more so, then yes, risk assets like cryptocurrency will fall. It's not about the shutdown. It's about what happens going into the shutdown. The other thing is, what we just went through with a historically long shutdown here a couple of months ago. Let me know in chat. Do you guys think they're going to have another shutdown that long? Do you think this one's going to be a little quicker? If it's quicker, let's say a week, 2 weeks, really not going to be that negative whatsoever. Because when it comes out, they're going to agree to something to get out of it, which will be a good thing. So I think it's too soon for people to say, government shutting down, market's about to crash. No, study the history books, study the trends. There's actually a lot of situations where government shutdowns have been bullish. It's because it's not about the actual detail of the shutdown. It's not about the actual detail of the FOMC decision. It's about what surrounds those decisions. That'll be the impact. And we'll make a video on that later this week, kind of letting you know where we're going into. Because then Friday night, midnight, we're going to be shut down unless some miracle happens. So the question is, what happens this week leading into the government shutdown on Friday? That'll tell us what to expect when it comes to the market movements next week, week after, so on and so forth. Okay? All right, guys, quick question. If Poly market is so big and popular, wouldn't buying Polygon now at all-time lows be a good idea? Ant Mike, I like Polygon, actually. I actually like Polygon. I think they're making some moves as a company. I actually bought them back here a little bit ago. Interestingly, they don't really move according to Poly market. Even though Polygon's involved with Poly market, the price action of Polygon does not seem to be correlated with Poly market. The price action of Polygon does not seem to be correlated to Poly market whatsoever. That could change in the future, but I think there's other reasons to buy Polygon. I would tell you right now, Poly market doing well, which it is doing, doesn't seem to have an impact on the Polygon price. Okay. Don't know why, but that's what it is. All right, guys, I'll see you guys next time. Smash like on your way out. Hit subscribe. Go get Toobit. Go get Toobit. Start trading with me today. Win $500 next month. I can't remember the guy's name that won it, but win $500 next month, maybe. See you guys next time.